Hey, since I'm making some videos on my practice sessions and bringing you into my practice room, I figured it would be a good idea to voice some of the things that I am doing in my practice session, since a lot of it is just pure footage that I'm putting up on my channel. So I'm just gonna explain the mindset that I have going into a practice session. Usually I have some kind of goal. I'm not always working on everything that needs work in my repertoire in one session. So sometimes I split it up between sessions to really focus on specific things. Sometimes if I want to do a run through for the purpose of preparing for an audition or a performance, something that it's coming up, then I will run through more just to get practice for making sure that I'm smoothly running through the repertoire I'm going to play. Obviously you don't want to be stopping in an audition or a performance, so that is what I find run-throughs helpful for. One, stamina, and two, making sure you're not stopping. So I guess beyond the goals that I have and what I'm going to focus on, the first thing I think about is what spots in the piece I know need work. I'll typically approach a section at a time and hit a spot. Then once I'm happy with what I know needs work, I'll just run a section through to get a sense of what might need work. If anything doesn't need work and it sounds fine to me, I'll move on. But if it's not a polished piece, usually there might be a couple things that I might work on. Anything that I stop for, I'll spend time working on that. And once I'm happy with the fix that I made, I will typically repeat that small spot that needed work at least a couple of times. The reason why is we need to reinforce the things that we want to repeat in our performances and auditions. If we're just fixing along the way, then we actually end up getting used to, our body and our brains get used to adjusting as we go along, fixing as we go along, even stopping and starting again as we go along. So we want to reinforce the fixes, the good things, the finished product after the end of working on a spot. And once I've reinforced that, I'll typically reintegrate that spot into a section by playing what came before it, so that it's in context, so it's not just an isolated spot, but that my brain and my fingers are used to getting into that spot and nailing it. So you'll see that happen a lot in my practice sessions. If I'm repeating something a couple of times, usually it's for reinforcement. If I go slower in practice, usually that means that I'm actually trying to fix it. And then I'll build up tempo from whatever slower tempo I decided to practice at. I think that's everything that I'll think through in a practice session. I'm trying to always have an ear out for intonation, even tone. Typically, I mean, when you're phrasing and you're making a musical statement, it's not always going to be the same tone, but what I mean by that is I don't want to hear any noises, extraneous noises that shouldn't be there. I want to have smooth bow changes, typical technique that you're looking for in a well-polished piece. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment and I will try to respond to that. Or if there's enough feedback of things that you guys are wondering, then I'll just make a second part to this. But that's typically what I'm doing in a practice session, and you can kind of tell what my brain is doing, what I'm thinking, and the purpose of what I'm working on based on some of these things that I've already said here. So hope that helps as you watch these practice videos.